Good evening. We're going to call the council meeting for, excuse me, for June 9th to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and observe a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Sabosley, if you take roll call.
Thank you. Mr. Dern.
Here.
Mr. Majernik.
Here.
Mr. Purcell.
Here.
Mrs. Rossler is not here, but she is joined by phone. Mr. Schlock.
Here.
Mr. Seitz.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Schlegel.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. I'm looking to get a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of May.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majernik, seconded by Mr. Schlock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the expenses for the month of May.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. All those in favor? Motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes of the May council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Majernik. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moves us to recognition of achievements in the community.
Well, Mr. President, I'm sure there were some, but nobody got in touch with me, so no whereases this week.
Oh. Civic announcements. No civic announcements. Okay. And that moves us to President's comments. And we do have two things tonight. I'm going to give up the floor to Mr. Sabosley for the first one.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just to bring one item to close here, just as a summary, back from our storm that hit Plum Boro and many other communities in late April, most of that cleanup is done. We had offered out on our website our Public Works crew to go out and pick up limbs, trees from various properties. So just reporting to council, we did have 25 families that took us up on that. Public Works went out there and picked those things up. So I think that that certainly helped. Along those same lines, just so council knows, we did have 2 dumpsters at our old site on New Texas Road for people who had spoiled food from that storm, and those dumpsters were filled when they were taken away. So people made good use of them, and when we had put the message out on Facebook, the message was sort of, hey, let's let people leave room in the dumpster so they can throw this stuff away and not throw your old lawn chairs in there. So people were respectful of that, and I think that worked out very well. So just wanted to let council know of those 2 items. And then our other item that we're going to move to here is a presentation from our most recent walking and wagging event that we had here. It was a new Borough Haps event that we had. Do we have the 2 people here tonight? If you want to come up to the front, Mr. Dern is going to present checks to you, and we're going to get a picture here.
So, tonight we're proud to recognize 2 extraordinary local organizations that made a tremendous impact in our community. Animal Protectors of Allegheny Valley and SPARO, which stands for Southwest Pennsylvania Retriever Rescue Organization. These dedicated rescues pour their hearts into saving, caring for, and finding loving homes for dogs in need, whether it's through medical care, rehab, or simply providing a safe place to land. Their teams work behind the scenes to give each dog a second chance. So a few weeks ago, like Dave was saying, our community came together for Plum Boro's first ever dog walk event, walking and wagging. So thanks to the generosity of everyone who registered, donated, or participated in our raffles. We're thrilled to present each organization with a check tonight for over $600. This contribution represents the gratitude of an entire community for the incredible difference these rescues make in the lives of both animals and people. So, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to citizens' comments of agenda items. Does anyone wish to speak regarding anything on the agenda tonight?
Don't think we had anyone sign up.
Okay. We'll move into council actions. On behalf of the Economic and Development Committee, Mr. Majernik, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to accept the SWIC lot line revision FSC-03-25 as complete.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second? Second. A second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to accept the SRK and American Dream Home lot line revision FSC-04-25 as complete.
Motion on the floor by Mr. McJernick. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Mr. Taylor seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to accept resolution number 1036-25, approving the waiver and modification requests for the Gamma Sports Land Development Plan SP-01-24 at 2400 Sheena Drive, lot and block 740-S-1.
Motion on the floor by Mr. McJernick. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1037-25, approving the Geo Solutions Storage Yard Conditional Use Plan, CU-01-25, and listing conditions of approval.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. McJernick. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 10325, approving the Geo Solutions Preliminary Final Land Development Plan, SP-01-25, lot and block 1095-J-86, listing waivers and modifications as well as conditions of approval.
Motion on the floor by Mr. McJernick. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Mr. Taylor. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1039-25, approving the preliminary final land development plan for the Plum Boro School District's O-Block Elementary Addition, SP-02-25, lot and block 852-B-10, and listing conditions of approval.
Motion on the floor from Mr. McJernick. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. McJernick. Moves us to Personnel Management, Mr. Seitz.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to appoint Ramin Fashandi as a full-time road supervisor in the Department of Public Works at a starting salary of $78,500 effective June 10th, 2025.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Seitz. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. McJernick. Any discussion?
All those in favor? Aye. And he's in attendance. If you'd like to come up and introduce yourself.
You got a haircut, Ramin.
We didn't get one. Ramin Fashandy and,
Hit the green button.
Ramin Fashandy, and I'd just like to thank you all for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Okay, also on behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to approve the addition of a cancer rider for the volunteer fire department sick and accident policy.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Seitz. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Ms. Rossler has nothing on public safety. We move to Mr. Taylor on Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Parks and Recreation Committee, I move to approve the purchase of a restroom facility for Plum Creek Park through CXT Precast Concrete Buildings and the PA Co-Stars Program in the amount not to exceed $300,000.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Slock. Any discussion?
If I could just make a statement so that the public knows, I know $300,000 sounds like an awful lot for a restroom, but it's needed down there, and also, it's not gonna be that amount, but most of this, 98% of this probably is gonna be paid by grant money. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, we received a grant, a Greenways Trails grant for $250,000.
Yeah.
So we think the price is going to be around $250, $260. We don't have the exact price. So we appreciate council letting us move forward with that tonight.
Thank you.
And that's going to take the place of the restroom that's there now.
Yeah.
That's in the floodplain, so it'll be moved back towards the road, out of the floodplain.
Much nicer, too.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, that's it for Mr. Taylor. Mr. Schlock has nothing for the finance, so we move to Mr. Purcell on the roads, equipment and grants.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve the PMFA's application for an improvement to a borough-owned facility for the replacement of a 10-by-10 shed contingent upon final permit approval by the Community Development Department.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. I believe that's it. And we come back full circle to the whereas mayor's report.
Thank you. Our uniformed patrol officers responded to 942 calls for service during the month of May, and that was about a 7% decrease from the previous month. And now we're into where we had the ATS radar speed signs. One was deployed right out by the baseball fields at 4540 New Texas Road for the month of May. 123,703 vehicles passed that sign in a 31-day period. And an idiot decided to do 65 mile per hour past that sign when kids playing ball down there. And the ATS radar display was moved to 3605 New Texas Road from May 1st through May 10th. And 26,348 vehicles passed that. And this is one direction. And an idiot decided to do 67 mile per hour going past that sign. And the last one on Pine Valley Drive from May 4th through May 31st, 22,762 vehicles were timed over that 26-day period. And again, somebody decided to go 62 mile an hour past the sign in a 25 mile an hour zone. And the final thing I have is for thoughtful citizens. And again, there's some of the same names that have been doing it for months and years after one another. On May 17th, Nesbitt's Bowling Lanes donated 2 pizzas and 30 cupcakes in appreciation for our officers' continued service to the community. And on May 23rd, again, Pat and Stan Kazmarski of Cuddywood Estates delivered cupcakes for our officers in appreciation of their service to our community. And on April 25th and the 28th of April, Michael Cerniglia of Michael's Painting delivered Oakmont Bakery donuts to show his appreciation of our officers' continued service to the community. And again, I didn't get an invitation to come down and partake.
When are you gonna take the hint?
Well, I keep hoping. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Moves us to committee reports. I have nothing to report for the intergovernmental committee, so we'll move on to Mr. Seitz with the Personnel Committee.
I have no report this month.
Okay. Mr. Schlock, the Finance Committee report, please.
Thanks, Mr. President. General fund highlights for the month of May 2025. The borough recognized revenues totaling $1,203,795 and incurred expenditures in the amount of $1,526,678. Revenues. To date, we have received $1.98 million in the current year earned income tax revenues, and this represents 40% of the adopted budget. The second quarter cable TV franchise fees were received from Comcast and Verizon, and they are totaling $128,249. During the month of May, the borough received $71,459 under regional asset district funding, and we are currently at 43% of the budget. Under sanitation revenues, for the year we have received $1,991,033, and this amount represents 82% of the budget. Overall, revenues are trending slightly above budget. Expenditures. Through the month of May, the borough has expended 39% of the budget, or $6.53 million, and we are trending below budget. Personnel-related costs are projected to be below budget in the Public Works Department due to a few unfilled positions. The draft 2024 independent audit report was received during early June, being reviewed by the finance director, and is planned to be presented at the July council meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schlock. Mr. Purcell, we're going to move to you for roads and equipment, and we're going to stay with you to do the public safety.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dern. Roads, equipment, and grounds. Traffic signal upgrades are currently underway at the intersections of Rampart Boulevard and Coxcomb Hill Road, as well as Halton Road and Coxcomb Hill Road, with an expected completion by the end of summer. That area, and 909, just so our residents are aware, we do have the US Open this week. Please, if you have to travel out that way, there's going to be delays. Have patience. Thank you. Barnes Road repairs handled by Plum Contracting have begun, and the road is closed to through traffic with detour routes posted. There's a stormwater improvement project is also in progress on Drennan Road and will continue throughout June. Several drainage improvements were completed, including inlet and pipe repairs on School Road, Old Leechburg Road, Halton Road near Oakmont Country Club, and a major upgrade on Trestle Road. And following the April 29th storm, Public Works responded with tree removal and debris cleanup efforts. 25 residents participated in the curbside pickup service for downed branches. And I'd like to also say thank you to the Public Works Department, because that storm was unbelievable. And for anybody that, I had people tell me that the Duquesne Light didn't respond fast enough, and they had a lot of problems. They had over 360 poles sheared and uprooted in their system. So again, have patience. Moving on to the public safety report. Our Plum EMS operations report. May stats, total responses 290. Total patients transported 181. So the third most ever in the history of Plum EMS. Responses to other communities for mutual aid were 19. 14 of these responses resulted in transport to the hospital. Total mutual aid received into Plum was 7. Out of all requests for EMS in the borough, Plum EMS handled 97.4% of these incidents. EMS News, along with running emergency calls in the community, Plum EMS conducted 3 CPR training courses, participated in an EMS press conference in Harrisburg, and met with representatives advocating for EMS legislation to help with insurance reimbursements. Provided 3 free car seat safety checks. They had their bike team participate in a walking and wagging event on Mike Thomas Way. And they continued to prepare for the 125th U.S. Open. And by that, Plum EMS has quadrupled their workforce each day of the event, on top of providing our normal daily EMS coverage for the community. So they have the coverage. There's no slack anywhere there in that particular category. We will have 4 bike response medics, 4 advanced life support carts, 2 advanced life support ambulances on site, and a command structure to help manage EMS during the event. And I know myself and members of council can't say enough. Our Plum EMS is just a fantastic operation, and they do a great job. And thank you to all of them involved. That concludes my report from public safety.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development, please.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. The Planning and Economic Development Report. The zoning hearing board did not meet in May. The zoning hearing board will hold a special meeting and provide a decision either approving or denying the Penteco injection well application on June 11th, 2025. Code enforcement completed 95 residential and apartment occupancy inspections and addressed and inspected 61 violations, complaints, and answered Borough Connects for junk and debris, high grass and weeds, abandoned vehicles, vacant structures, rodents, occupancy violations. There were 30 violation letters sent. That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Taylor, Parks and Rec Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the month of May, Public Works completed a wide range of parks and building maintenance tasks across the borough, which includes completing plumbing, electrical repairs to Plum Creek Park concession stand, painted dugouts, picnic tables, and added playground mulch. Similar upkeep took place at Larry Mills, Logan's Ferry, and Renton Parks, including equipment inspections, pavilion rentals, and mowing and minor repairs. In Borough Apps, Public Works assisted Laurel Hill Trout Farm with stocking Plum Creek with over 350 trout on May 2nd for the annual Youth Fishing Day. This annual borough event took place on Saturday, May 3rd, and approximately 35 residents attended the first day, and I know going down there and witnessing myself for several weeks after, people were fishing. Borough Apps had its first walking and wagging event May 17th. Thank you to all who participated and made the event successful. We had 52 dogs that enjoyed 1 mile walk down Mike Thomas Way. Animal Protectors of Allegheny Valley and Sparrow Rescue will each receive $637.50 along with food and supplies generously donated by those who participated. The summer movie series kicked off last Friday, June 6th, showing Despicable Me. Residents enjoyed popcorn, games, and community fun. Looking ahead, please mark your calendars for July 11th and August 1st for the upcoming summer movie series. Upcoming events for June: Monday Markets, Started June 2nd and runs through August 25th at the new location, Plum Creek Presbyterian Church. And Summerfest this year is June 19th and through the 21st. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Prokopik with the engineers report, if you would, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll touch on a few things going on throughout the borough. Parkside Estates Phase 2, the final paving wearing course was completed this past Saturday. The homes are progressing very nicely being built in that neighborhood. Mr. Purcell touched on Barnes Road. That project is moving along well. The contractor's doing a good job. I would anticipate the Barnes Road to be open within the next month. So the project is moving along well. The Abers Creek / Holiday Park stormwater project is officially complete. They did the final paving this past week. The contractor had mechanical issues and wanted to extend their apologies for the delays, but that is complete. Just an update from other construction within the borough. They are going to be paving Ohio Powell tomorrow, doing the final wearing course, along with base repair. So that should be completed by the end of the week. And then the contractor's moving on to Sardis Road in Plum Boro. So just expect delays on Sardis Road starting potentially end of this week into early next week. Other than that, we are going to be receiving bids for the O-Block Stormwater Flood Mitigation Project on June 17th. That's going to be the upgraded pond project to help stormwater issues down along Pine Valley. Those are the main highlights, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Prokopik. That moves us to citizens' comments on non-agenda items. Anyone in the audience wish to speak, please step forward.
Hi, my name is Melissa Fisher. I just want to talk about the bike walk trail. I know it's a long way off. I don't know who I talked to. I talked to somebody here. Was it you? But my neighborhood, we live down by Community Market. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Mary Street, James Way. And that's where they want to run it through. And, I mean, this is a private neighborhood. It's one way in and one way out. I mean, that's going to create a lot of problems for the children and everybody. I mean, our houses are not fenced-in yards. I mean, we're concerned. And, I mean, there has to be a way that you can reroute this. I mean, we had a man down there, I think it was 2 years ago, living in a tent in the woods, right where they're going to bring the trail. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I'm worried about this guy was living down there. He was a drug addict. I had to call the cops to get him out of there. It was crazy. He was bathing and everything in the creek. It was terrible. But we worry about the traffic too, as far as like ambulances and fire trucks coming through there. I mean, you're going to put this on the one road. I don't know if you guys have ever been down there, the dirt road area. I mean, it's not big enough for all that. And we park our cars down there. I mean, and then you got the stores across the street, like, the State Store, the beer distributor. There's a Dollar General, Family Dollar. I mean, some of them stores have gotten robbed. And when they get robbed, they run our way. The crooks run our way. Because you got the railroad track up there, they run for the woods to get away, of course. Then flooding happens down there. I think our last big flooding was July in 2019. I mean, I have a swimming pool down there. It wiped out my pool. It's just not a safe area. I worry about it. And then I worry about my property values. I mean, what's going to happen to my property values? You got all these people coming through that you don't know who they are. I mean, and coming through the woods. And then I worry about the fact that you got children that, you don't know what's coming through there. When children go missing. I mean, you hear it all the time. Women get raped, murdered, all that kind of stuff on these. I have nothing against this trail. It's just not, it should not run through somebody's neighborhood. I'm sure you guys wouldn't want it in your backyard. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, they could go to Boyce Park. I know they haven't started it yet. I went to the first meeting 3 years ago down in Verona, and I just got, they didn't even want to talk to me, these guys. It's just crazy. But I invite you all to come down and see what I'm talking about. The woods, everything. It's not safe. And then the children in our neighborhood, how do we deal with that? when they freely get to ride their bikes and do all that kind of stuff, and now you're gonna bring all this into the neighborhood that we don't know what's coming. To me, it's just not safe. I'm not against the trail. They just need to reroute it out of our neighborhood. That's, you know, I have to bring it to you because I'm worried. I'm very worried, so thank you for your time.
I just
What
have
is the
one
status of
question.
the report, of the trail?
My understanding is they're still working on design, and I did talk to Ms. Fisher, was that about 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
3
I
weeks
appreciate
ago?
you calling me back.
And right after we had talked, I ended up calling her back, I think the next day, because Friends of the Riverfront posted on their website. They're having a meeting July 29th from 6 o'clock to 7:30 at the Steel City Rowing Club down in Verona.
But that's why they wouldn't talk to me, because they're only worried about Verona right now.
And that's,
I tried to tell them even about Verona. I said, you're gonna have this running across, you know, the main road down there. I said, well, how are you gonna protect bikes and everybody? I see people, you know, getting killed. And they didn't wanna hear it from me, so.
yeah, and as far as public input, that would be, I think, the next forum for the public to be able to provide that. I know Trans Systems or Gannett Fleming, I'm not sure what name they're actually going by now. They did provide an update to Dave and Sam and I, but it was more of a general, same thing they've been showing, the overall map. We voiced our concerns with some of the areas that we don't own property or access points. But that's really all the further it is as far as I'm aware.
Did you mention to whoever that's in charge that you're dealing with about her concern, where it's going?
Yeah, we told them, and I don't think I'm misspeaking by saying it, that to our knowledge, at the public meetings, there's a lot of people that show up in favor of this, but there are some that are really against it. In particular, I know some of the people that I would say are directly impacted by the trail, where it's touching their property or very near their property. We've been told they're not in favor of it and don't plan to participate willingly. But that's about all the further we got with it. They offered to have one of their representatives that deals with easement and right-of-way acquisition contact us, but Dave, I'm not aware if anybody's contacted you.
No, and I think what we've done in the past, when people are concerned about it, we've had them come out and meet with the residents. But at the same time, you know, there are 4 communities involved in this project, and there are problems in all 4 communities. You know, even in Verona, which seems fairly simple, there are a lot of PennDOT problems on the road. So this is a very long-term project, but we'd be happy to have someone from there come out and meet with you so you can voice your concerns to them.
The reason I'm here is because they were doing surveys down there already. And I talked to the guy. I said, what are you doing down here? And that's what it was for.
Sure. But certainly, we'll pass your concerns along, and if we can get someone out there to meet with you, we'll certainly do that.
I would appreciate that.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
DJ, at the last meeting we had here with the people from that trails or whatever that's called, I understand there's like less than a half mile going through Verona and the same in Oakmont, and 17 miles of it is in Plum.
I don't recall the lengths. I know in simplified nature, Plum has the longest stretch, maybe the most expensive.
Well, then I think then we have the most to say about it, correct?
Yeah, I think in some aspects, I think we're at the back end, you know, like we were talking like Oakmont, Verona, they seem to be more proactive on their portions. I think Oakmont actually owns some pieces. And like Dave said, Verona, I think, was looking further into moving ahead with pieces along the PennDOT right-of-way, and that's when it gets into permitting and safety and things like
But
that.
they have less than a half mile of trail and down there where we've got 17. And I know some concerns were brought up at that meeting we had here. I just think if they're gonna weigh things, then they ought to weigh, Plum ought to have more weight than those that only have a half mile effect on it. And that's usually through their business park down there, I understand, crossing Allegheny River Boulevard and going up after Dark Hollow Road, it's all Plum.
Yeah, I think down around where your properties are located would be where it switches from Penn Hills to Plum.
But where she's
portion.
located at, yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, just reroute it from away from us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many families down there with kids, and like I said,
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Yeah, I personally know where you are. Camel time?
Not many people know it's over.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else with anything that they'd like to address council with? Okay, I'm going to ask for an adjournment. I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majernik for adjournment. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you.